To get started, let's have a look at a Photoshop mock-up, what it is and how you can use it. Let's say that you've designed this t-shirt and you want to be able to show your client what the design for a t-shirt would look like before it's actually screen printed on here. So I found this one for free and I've downloaded it. So I want to be able to use this to put my own design into the t-shirt. When I downloaded it, it comes with a Photoshop document, and here it is. If I was to open it up in Photoshop, pay close attention to the layers. Now, every mock-up is going to be done slightly differently. The best mock-ups give you the ability to control everything that's about it. You can control colors, spacing, sizing. Sometimes they come in a variety of different shapes or different angles. In this case, I see I've got two different folders. I've got a folder for the shirt, and the shirt, when I open it up, is broken down into different subfolders. And I've got a folder for the background, and all this is a color. Now, if I wanted to change the color of the background, in this case, they've given it to me as a solid fill color. So if I double click on it, I should be able to change it to whatever color that meets the needs of my client or whatever brand I'm working on. So that's really helpful. If I open up the shirt, I can see further, I can refine the size or the style of each one of these, and some of these come with different little layers that may have reflections or shadows or other what I call enhancements. In this case, let's say I wanted to change the collar. Looks like I can select the color of the collar and change it, because there are some shirts that you can have different color collars or maybe even different color sleeves. Let's check this out. So this is the right and left sleeve, and I can have it match for both of those two. So this one's very, very customizable. What I'm really interested in is the design in the center. I want it to look like I can replace this. And in this case, I've got a folder called Mockup, and somewhere in the Mockup, I have a special layer that's a smart object layer. I know it's a smart object because it has this little icon to it. If I was to double click on this icon, this is going to open up the design as a separate file and a separate window. Notice up here at the top I have layer 1 PSB. So this is a Photoshop sublayer. From here, whatever I do to this design will automatically update to my original file. So I could go in and place my own design inside of here. So if I wanted to change out this design, all I have to do is to put my design on here. So let's grab one that I have on my desktop. And I'll delete away the background for here. Now that I've got a new design, I can go up to File and Save. And when I close out this document and jump back into my other one, give it a second, you can see it's now been updated. And in this case, you can see it's going way too far over the edge. But it looks like it stays inside of the shirt simply because they've also set up a layer mask to mask everything in. If I need to make further changes, simply reopen the Smart Object, and I can go in and do things like scale it down. Again, if I save it and then jump into my original document, it'll automatically update to where it needs to be. So making these kind of mock-ups really comes in handy. Let's save it one more time and bring it to the top, and there it is placed there. Let's do another for a book mock-up, so I won't save this one. In this case, I've got a book cover that's got a back, spine, and front parts to it. And I've already designed the cover and all parts of the book that I want to mock up. So this is my artwork that I want to place inside of this particular mock-up. So to get started, I'll open up my book cover photo, and let's have a look at all the layers. Notice that there's different little layers inside of here that I can change, but here's my smart objects, and they're cleverly titled exactly what it needs to be. So the back, the edge, and the book cover. To place my artwork inside of it, I'm going to open up, in this case, the front cover by double clicking on it. This will open up the design itself, and let's place the artwork inside of here. So here's my book cover. We'll drag it on, scale it up to fit. And since that's the front, everything works out well with that. I can now save this document by going to File and Save. When I close it out, you can see it fits nicely inside of this. To do the spine, we can double click on the edge. Again, let's place the artwork, but this time only show the edge portion that needs to fit here. In this case, it'll be there. And when I save it and place it, it's now been updated, and I can do the same thing for the back of the cover. So these 3 different layers all contain 3 different mock-ups for this design. I've got the design already ready, and Photoshop is doing all of the work to put it into perspective and to add the appropriate shadows and highlights. I can see all of this by opening up these sublayers, and I can turn on and off their visibility to see what they're doing. For instance, on this layer, it's the highlights for the book. If I turn off that layer, it's not going to give the same kind of highlight and shadow that would normally be part of this book. It's set to be on top of my mock-up, and I can see that the blending mode is set to screen so that it looks nice and believable. If I wanted to further refine any of these, like the background, I can open up this background and I can change its color to be something else, maybe even something that matches part of the book in itself. So as you can see, in Photoshop, this gives you a great ability to render and create and present your work in a very refined manner. The next thing we need to do before we can start using these and creating our own is we need to get an understanding of how to morph and change different parts to make it look like these are real.